President Peterson, Provost Bross, Honoree Scheller, faculty and staff, guests, and graduates, I bring you warm greetings on this important occasion. I do have to tell you, though, that I'm not a very good speaker. When Bud called me to ask me to be commencement speaker this evening, I said, but, I'm not a very good speaker. And he said, well, doesn't matter, they won't be listening anyway. But there was one occasion at which I received a standing ovation when I gave a commencement speech. And it was at the University of Vermont. And when the time came for me to give my speech, I got up and said, I'm just going to put it on the web and you can read it on the web. And I not only got a standing ovation, but I got donations at Brown because I did it. I will not be doing that tonight, however. It won't surprise you, I know, to know that as a career educator, I think your completion of advanced study is not only one of the most important contributions you're making to your future and that of your families, but this milestone is also one of the most patriotic and civic acts that you could undertake as someone concerned about the future of our world. Let me congratulate you on your efforts and your success. And by the way, I don't know if they're streaming my text, but they shouldn't because I never stick to a text anyway. And by the way, the young man who gave the address earlier, what's with him? He didn't even use a text. Is that a Georgia Tech thing? Okay, that was perfectly brilliant, and I'm very envious. Really. Fantastic. It's a great pleasure to stand here at Georgia Tech, a storied research university that, in spite of its relatively young age, Brown is soon to be 250 years old, has produced enormous good for the world and earned an envied place as one of the top research universities in the world. I'm sure you know better than I the story of this great university, but it is instructive for all those who would hope to use their expertise to found something new and enduring, to carry on work already begun, or make signal contributions to knowledge, to follow the example of this university, an example of persistence, enlightened adaptation, and concern for society. All of that is so evident in the history of this great university. As I think about that, I was taken aback. Let me just say it right up front. I was taken aback by the idea of this great university in all its dignity and its pomp and circumstance to be called the Yellow Jackets. I wasn't sure about that, but I'm sure there is something, I'll find some meaning in that at some point. Congratulations on that, I think. Brown has a big, scary bear as its mascot. I recommend that to you. But yellow, I'm sure, yeah, Yellow Jackets, they sting, I think. So maybe that's a good thing. In spite of the reputation of this university, you have to admit that at some point along the way to its current success, this institution was a diamond in the rough. Today, you benefit from the fact that it is now a polished jewel. And let me say also, everybody kept telling me, keep your remarks short, keep them to 10 minutes, but, they want me to get on a plane, fly here, set aside a lot of things, and then speak for 10 minutes. Forget that, I'm not speaking for 10 minutes. Well, it's going to be pretty close, actually. Before I go further, let me say this, by the way. I am delighted to see so many women graduates in this audience. Outstanding. So I have a little message. I hope this is not considered politically incorrect. I have a little message, men, for the women in this audience, because I know what they face. And I have to say to them that you have earned your place. And you should never forget that. Because although you have your graduate degree, or soon will have, you're still going to meet people who talk over you, who dismiss what you say, who minimize the importance of who you are and what you can bring. That's going to happen anyway. But I hope that one of the things this terrifying mascot will give you the courage to do is to fight back. Don't let anybody treat you like a second-class citizen ever. So, just had to say that. There's much in the modern world that has given jewels, and especially diamonds, a bad name. Of course, there are blood diamonds that are mined in inhumane circumstances that mar their brilliance and their value. And there are those who hoard diamonds as a show of superior wealth and adornment. Stars and artists borrow diamonds for the infamous red carpet to reflect their power, their worth, and their beauty. The search for this, called bling, has become an established feature of popular culture, such that even the youngest children now aspire to display it. I recently asked my 5-year-old granddaughter what she would like me to send her. She lives right here in Atlanta, 5 years old. So I thought, she's going to say a little pony or some little precious little toy. Instead, she said, well, I don't have any diamonds. I want to speak to you this evening about something more lasting than something that passes for worth and misrepresents power. Like the diamond formed deep in the earth's mantle, your worth as a human being is God-forged and given. It is neither proven nor improved by so-called bling. The totality of your experience as a scholar endows you with something of much greater value. Your education, I'm here to say tonight, is the only bling you will need. Now, there's no doubt that some of you have accomplished this milestone while attending to a host of other responsibilities, from family duties to professional obligation. That, it seems, is the way of modern life, a schedule that requires one to be in many places at the same time, to focus on a variety of life's dimensions at the same time, to achieve in more than one challenging area at the same time. And of course, once you have completed your studies, you will find that demands increase exponentially. Yet this business that fills your days and disrupts your nights is a welcome inconvenience because it represents the vitality of the mind and spirit. That vitality is part of the stuff of learning. As events swirl around us, we must be grateful for every demand upon us that challenges, enriches, and enlivens our days upon this orb. Still, those in academic settings often underestimate the value of the experiences associated with learning. We speak fondly, so fondly, of the world outside of academia as the real world. We look forward to being done with studies. In part, that may be so because the elevated worth of academic life can be clouded by distractions. I am sure you know about some of these distractions, such as the number of units required to graduate, the most imminent deadlines that we face, our grades and GPAs. But by focusing on the statistics of the learning dynamic, we overlook the load of treasures that inure to us as learners. I ask you, in what may be for some of you the final moments of your academic career, to contemplate with me some facets of the learning experience that are vital to your future success. And as you do so, keep in mind that you will need not only to be aware of the value of your degree, but you will also need to be mindful of how to protect and enhance it if it is to serve and adorn you throughout your life. Now, I'm aware that you've probably yourselves often been described as jewels by your parents and teachers, and almost certainly by your partner in life. They see something in you that shines forth, endearing you to them and even inspiring them. The light that emanates from your intellect and your character does in fact bestow light on others, to those in your extended family circle, to those with whom you work, to those who benefit from your civic endeavors. With a Georgia Tech education, the tools and knowledge you take from your learning will make this light even stronger. But there are ways in which, by your continuing care of this asset, you can extend the life of that flame and enjoy the benefits of your learning experience in even more extraordinary ways. Geologists in this audience can appreciate the way in which precious gems are formed. There are theorists who say that some diamond formation has occurred from the high temperature and pressure of asteroid strikes, because tiny diamonds have been found around meteor craters. Whether you buy this theory or not, diamond formation requires both intense heat as well as ideal materials to form. Your education was formed over a much shorter time frame than diamonds, but there are similarities between the formation and qualities of these brilliant stones and your education. First, your education has, I hope, been formed in the heated cauldron of intellectual curiosity. The more heat and the more force you continue to apply, the more brilliantly your knowledge will serve you. Those who are passive learners or credential gatherers may derive a modicum of use from their education. It's true. But those who are personally and intellectually invested in the life of the mind will reap the benefits in every dimension of their life, professionally, personally, and even spiritually. The obligation of continuously expanding one's mind is attached especially to those who have benefited from an excellent advanced education. You have a duty. Because you have the privilege of a Georgia Tech education, you have a duty to be one of the few who understands and accomplishes that. Second, the value of learning has been observed and documented objectively over a long period of time. Now, I know a lot of people, perhaps your parents, perhaps people that you encounter from time to time, question the worth of education. Since mankind first stood erect, the human brain has been evolving and expanding in capacity. The health and welfare of mankind today depends mightily on the extent to which the human brain in all its capacities is nurtured and advanced. Your acquisition of knowledge has enjoyed tools that your predecessors' knowledge made possible for you. Libraries, digitized and readily available. Computing that greatly hastens the speed of implementing new research and translating that research into quotidian usage. Communication devices and transportation that put you in touch with cultures, individuals, and advances throughout the world. All of these innovations were made possible by constant nurturing of the capacity of the human brain and by sparks of ingenuity that derived from intellectual curiosity. Third, your education not only retains its value, but it can appreciate in value over time. Forget about the stock market. Well, maybe not. Maybe buy a few stocks. But what you put into your mind, what you invest in your mind, will reap benefits without question, without doubt. But the extent to which its value grows will depend on what you do to improve on how and what you know. A mere certificate of valuation at the time you complete your degree does not assure you that your degree will grow in value. And by the way, Bud didn't ask me to do this, but I'm just going to give him a plug. The more money you give to Georgia Tech when you graduate, the more your degree will appreciate in value also. What you have put into acquiring your degree, the extent to which you polish it, the degree to which you enhance your learning will be all important to whether it serves you well throughout your life. When I think about my own graduation from Harvard with a PhD, I recognize that that moment was just the beginning in my effort to learn and grow in know-how and discernment. And I might even say when I graduated from Harvard, I was still pretty much a mess. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was trying to figure out what the world was going to be. Coming as it did a decade after the Civil Rights Act of 1963, my graduation did not portend a stellar career. I could only imagine a life and career circumscribed by race and my place in society at that time. And when I graduated, there was no doubt in my mind that a black person would not have the opportunities that I've had in my life. Everybody said so, after all. I was fooled by conventional wisdom and the thought that change could not come. That I kept on learning meant that when change and opportunity did come, I was ready for the role that I would play. A lot of people made a good deal over the fact that I was the first black president of an Ivy League university. Not really a big deal at all, an accident of history. But it did happen that at the very moment when Brown was looking for a president, I was available and I was qualified. And why I was, I can only tell you because every day, every year, every month of my life, when I worked, I tried to learn more, and I kept learning. Years after my graduation from Harvard, when I was awarded the Harvard Medal as well as an honorary degree, that university was recognizing that I had indeed grown beyond who and what I was at the moment I was awarded my PhD. My work as a student at Harvard was nothing compared to what I did in the years that followed, developing an understanding of the world, refining my ideas about what education should be, and learning to practice the art of leadership. It was my goal as I left Harvard to keep on learning and refining my knowledge, and that should be your goal, unquestionably, as you leave Georgia Tech. So do take a moment to celebrate, but acknowledge that you have much more to do to capture and enhance the most important facets of your intellect and character. Let me also say that often when people are in universities, which tend to be among the most diverse institutions in society today, they take advantage of that diversity when they're at the university. And when they leave, what do? They resegregate in their social groups and in their neighborhoods. I pray that for the sake of our country and the sake of the world, that you won't do that. That one of the things you'll take away from this place is that community should not have racial barriers. You should be open to people on the basis of who they are and what they are. You should judge them according to that and not according to whether or not they're in your social group, whether or not they have enough money, whether or not they're the same color, whether or not they're the same faith. If this country is going to survive, the people who lead it have to get that. They have to. Fourth, diamonds are not just an investment, they adorn. Your education, rightly appreciated, will enhance your life and that of others in so many ways. Never to be used to demonstrate superiority over others. Now, I know, and I'm not singling out you doctoral candidates by any means, but there are a lot of people who get PhD after their name or doctor after their name who start to think that they're smarter than everybody else in the world. I hope you don't make that mistake. I can see on your faces you're not going to make that mistake. You look like very sensitive, knowledgeable people. Sharing your education with others is one part of the equation, but only one part. The other is an openness to receive from others the value of what they know and have experienced. Learning can take place in the most unexpected ways and from the most unexpected sources. Some of my greatest moments of growth have come at the hands of people who were not Nobel laureates or captains of industry, not from my world of faith, not from my field of endeavor. I always say my greatest mentor in my life was a Jewish man from Philadelphia who we had absolutely nothing ostensibly in common with him. And yet, he was my greatest champion and my greatest teacher. Some of my greatest teachers were unexpected. A Korean monk with whom I shared a cup of tea in Seoul, Korea. A teacher in inner city Houston. And my greatest teacher of all, my mother, who was a maid. If your learning has taught you to be curious and open-minded, you will be open to the unexpected lessons in life and live every day in anticipation of the possibility that the greatest lesson of your life can present itself on your path at any moment. These are but of the few of the ways in which you're able to enter upon a new and daring course as you accept your degree from Georgia Tech. Be careful in the journey to come, that you don't treat your learning as a tool that enables something that you want to do, but it's a gem to protect, burnish, and pass on to future generations. Treasure what you have done here, and your life will be as meaningful as mine has been since I received my graduate degree. Congratulations to you. This is just about the best looking graduation class I think I've ever seen. Congratulations on that, and congratulations and good luck to you in the future.